we get to weigh in, do the weigh-in, get off the scales, and then I remember waking up in a hospital bed 2.5-3 weeks later. You're effectively being kept alive by a machine, do you know what I mean? It's mad. I think I died for 2 weeks. I looked in the mirror and I just started crying. I thought, that's when I knew my boxing career was over. I'm like, I'm done. That guy, Eddie Carter,
the
cut man.
Who saved your life, really.
Absolutely. So, got a phone call saying that he took his own life and gone drown himself, And I go, a guy that saved so many lives, saved my life, but he spent a life saving lives and no one could recognise what was going on.
How we doing, you lovely, lovely people? Now we're back again, and I don't know how they've let us, but they have. And this is the Men's Room podcast with talkSPORT, and I've got the fabulous Mr. Neil Razor Ruddock here next to me, eating his bacon sarnie. And of course, we've got a special guest today. He is the absolute governor, the omen, Mr. Spencer Oliver.
He is special, him.
He's special, he is special.
Gosh, don't even go. Don't do
Me and him are sensible. Compared to him, the only guess we've had that me and you are sensible.
Be careful, you'll fill yourself up.
I will, I'm up now.
How you been, mate? Good?
Really good.
When you're boxing that, did you struggle with your weight?
Signal how me.
That's what I mean. Did you?
Yeah. That's why I got injured. Reason for injury.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Lack of food.
But do you reckon
Depends why I'm going through that.
until you get the heavyweights, you can do one. But under heavyweights, do you think every boxer has to struggle to weight? Because the lighter you are, the better it is for you, I suppose.
Yeah. Do you know what it is, Ray? When you're cutting weight, everybody else is. So back in the day when I was boxing in the 90s, you never had the nutrition around that you've got now.
Same as football. Same as football when I was playing.
So if you was overweight, if you was like, I don't know, let's say 2 pound overweight, don't eat, don't drink. And that's what it was like. But for me, it was, I won the European title when I was 21. I lost it when I was 23, but in those couple of years in between, it was getting harder to make the weight. But because that's where you was at, world ranked 2, 3, 4 in all the governing bodies, you had to stay there. So it was like one more fight, and it's effectively one too many.
So if you had had the education that they do now, in your day, you'd have been better. You'd have been safer for yourself.
Yeah, I think definitely. I think it's one of those that I think if you would have had the nutritionists around that you got today, then your body wouldn't have been dehydrated the way that mine was, and hence would have stopped any
So
problems.
when you got weight, what was your weight? You weighed in. What was that?
8 stone 10.
What would you go in the ring at?
9 stone 10.
Wow.
Yeah, like
and
24 hours.
It's amazing, isn't it?
24 hours putting so it's like you're basically taking off a stone of fluid. Now you imagine pouring 1 stone of fluid into a bucket. That's how much water you're taking out of your body.
Spen, I don't know if I heard you on talkSPORT or read it, but do you, if to cut weight, don't you just drink water? Loads and loads of just like sort of nearly drown yourself to trick your body that, is that how you lose weight?
Sleeve, like
that's what I guess it's sleeve like me.
No, yes,
but don't you, how do you say you got to lose 6 pounds in a couple of days? Does it? I've heard it just drink water.
No,
water.
So back in the day, this was the problem. So let's say like 6 days before or something, you're 8 pound, 9 pound over.
Yeah.
So back in the day, it was like, well, you're over, don't eat dinner tonight, don't drink. And it was like that. So then you would go, the closer you got to the 5, the more you was cutting, like as in food and fluids. Yeah. And the more you was training to try and get the weight down. So that's what it was. So it was like, Ray, you know, it's like you're an ex-sportsman, so you'd understand that like when you're training, you're competing at a certain level, you're training and the training gets more intense, and it's like, you know, you're trying like running in the morning. For us, it was like running over Hampstead Heath at 6 a.m. Then you're back in the gym at 10 a.m. doing strength and conditioning, back in the gym at night sparring, doing pads and whatnot. So you're doing all that, and my daily intake of food would end up being something like, you go running in the morning, and you'd have like, say, 2 poached eggs on toast. Then you wouldn't have anything, and then the more you was cutting, the less you'd have, and then I might like have a bowl of cereal or something, and then at night might have a bit of fish with a bit of rice. And the closer you got to it, the more if you was still like, so say because I was so tight at the weight, I was like, say if I was weighing 8 stone 12 at the time, whatever, to lose that 2 pounds, to a normal person would be like losing 2 stone because your body's so tight.
That's what I mean. Anyway, yeah. So you're
body
like,
fat's down to like 6%,
snake,
or something stupid, and so it was harder to lose the weight.
Yeah.
And it was like, that was effectively, that was effectively
so
what done
what
me.
year were your boxing years?
So my boxing years were, so I boxed in the Commonwealth Games in 1994 out in Canada. Won a silver out in Canada, and I turned pro in 95.
Yeah, so that era, what I'm trying to, what I'm leading to, Spen, is I signed for Liverpool in 1993, the most successful football club in the world.
Yeah.
When I signed for Liverpool in 1993, we didn't have a physiotherapist.
Well, that's what it was like. So you will understand what I'm talking about. Like,
If I was overweight, this was the method of the mad, the method of the mad. If I had to be 14'1". I was 14'1". When I got older, I got, obviously bigger. But I'm 14'1". If I was 14'5" on a Tuesday when we got weighed, they'd make me wear a bin bag under my kit. And they'd weigh me out of train. I was 14 stone again. There you go, lad. But then I'd drink £4 of water after to make, you know what I mean? So that was the method. That was the only thing we knew.
Yeah, and that's what it was. Like your sweatsuit, effectively, which
that's
everyone knows. Your sweatsuit was a black bag, like bin liner. You used to cut a little bit under the top, bit in the arms.
Put your head, 2 arms there, under your kit, spread bin liner upside down.
That'll make you sweat though, didn't it?
So over the past few episodes, we've been talking everything men's mental health. And we've been discussing some tricky topics, and we're all normal people and we've all had sort of different things happen, and we're excited that Spencer's here because Spencer, you've had a good career in boxing, on talkSPORT, and obviously you had something happen to you that we'd like to talk about today.
So basically, you died for 2 weeks.
Yeah, basically. I got a blood clot to the right side of my brain in my last fight, May 2nd, 1998.
Was that? But there was no you didn't have any problems before. Did you get checked? I mean, there was no checks. You just happened on that night.
Yeah, it's a crazy story. Obviously, I'll start from the beginning. So, turned professional in 1995, and things moved really quickly for me. As in, like, I won a European title quicker than anyone's ever won it. Adam Azim actually just beat that. I held that title for 26 years or something like that. Yeah, mad. Like that's how quick I was moving. Opportunities were coming up. I remember I boxed a guy called Patrick Mullins in my 9th fight, and it was a kid that used to bash me up all the time in the gym. He was senior ABA champion, I was junior ABA champion, and so when we both turned pro, he was doing really well. He went like sort of 10 unbeaten, I was 9 unbeaten. We was always going to collide at some point. It was a local derby. I was from Barnet, he was from Harrow, so we always had that rivalry, and. The fight come up, and he was with Frank Maloney. I was with Jess Harding at the time, and the fight come up for the Southern Area title. Now, in the back of my head, I'm thinking, this is going to be a bit tough, this one, because, because I've done really well.
Was that a good thing, though?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? You train, you think, this is going to be a tough thing. You know what I mean? If it was the other way round, you think, I'm going to just you won't train as hard. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what it is, Ray? Boxing is psychological. It's 20% physical and 80% mental boxing.
Yeah.
When you get into those penultimate rounds, it's not about the physicalities, and it's all about the mental strength. Who can bite down their gum shield the most? And so going into that fight, he's thinking, I used to bash you up.
Yeah.
He's like, when I was 15, he was like 20, so I was junior ABA champion, he was senior ABA champion, so he was a tricky southpaw, quick hands, good fighter to be fair. He went on to win a IBO world title, British champion and whatnot. But the boxing papers and all the boxing writers and whatnot were like, yeah, Spencer wins this fight in 6 rounds, because I was
so
thinking
the pressure's
they were pushing.
The pressure's
so
on
come back from the Commonwealth Games, won a silver out in Canada, and
sorry you're up, but it's like, all the press are backing you, and you're thinking, hold up.
On the flip side, he's thinking, I used to bash you up, mate. We're going to see about that. So we're doing the big build-up.
It's a double barrel.
Yeah, it's a double barrel. But effectively, it worked better for me, because I'm thinking, when I went in there, so I trained, I used to train like a demon anyway, and I knew that Pat weren't the best liver. So he didn't really train. He did have a lot of natural talent, but he used to live a little bit of a wild life, and he'd go out and whatever. So I knew this. So yeah. Do you know anyone else like that? Yeah.
No, not me.
No, so anyway, I knew this. So we was obviously both trained really well for the fight, and so we get into the fight, and I'm thinking, if he hits me with 3, I'm going to hit him with 4. If he hits me with 4, I'll hit him with 5. And that was my mentality. So we get in there, and it's going. We won fight of the year in 1997. It was a proper ding dong. I ended up knocking him out in the 10th round. After I got really bad.
Set it up. So how'd you knock him out?
I'm gonna go into it. I'm gonna feed you it. I'm gonna give you it now.
I like the knockout. I like knockouts. You. We only want somebody to get knocked out. We don't want draws in like 12 rounds, do we? We want somebody to get hurt.
I tell you how it goes, Razor. Bell goes ding ding, round 1, right? So we're in this local sports hall, right? funny enough, I live 5 minutes from this place now. How it's come around. So we get in there, and it's packed. There's people sitting around. They've well oversold the place because it's this local rivalry, and everyone knows it's going to be a good fight stylistically. So it's because it was a vacant title. It was a toss of a coin who won for the first ring walk and second ring walk. So I've got to go first. So I go in there and it's like a pit bull in there. I go in there, there's bodies everywhere, they're screaming. I'm in there, and so I'm warming up, and then he comes out, spotlight comes on him, song comes up, ready or not, here I come, you get out, right? So I'm in the middle of the ring thinking, can you swear on there?
Yeah. You just swore twice.
I'm in the middle of the ring and I'm thinking, this is going to be hard. And I can see him coming out. So like this little guy, and he's got his dreadlocks, and he's there, and I'm thinking, oh, mate. So I'm there on shadow box, I'm looking at him. So he gets in the ring, and I'm thinking, I've got to do this geezer. Because I'm not thinking about the cameras that are on me, like 'cause it was on Sky. I'm thinking about everyone that's in the room. And I'm thinking, I can't lose this fight. Anyway, the first bell goes, he comes out like a steam train. I'm on the ropes like that, and I'm thinking, you got to do something here, mate. This could be an early night. So then I come back at him, and that's pretty much how it went. And then that's what I say when we talk about the physicalities of something. You go, we get into round 2, round 3, and we're both just pummeling away, and so it's getting really tough. And then we get into the 10th round. We come out and he sort of throws me on the ropes, and I'm winning the fight anyway, so I'm comfortably up. I'm like 7 rounds to 2 up at this point, I say, but they were close rounds. It didn't really tell the story of the fight. So I'm thinking, all I've got to do is survive here, and I've won the fight. So I've come out on the back foot, I'm moving around, and he comes at me like a steam train because he knows he needs to knock out for the win. So he comes to me, and as he comes in, we have a clash of heads, and it splits my eye here. And so when I say, I'll show you after, you see it's everywhere, it's gone, but we've got about 2 minutes left in the round. But so he's come at me like a lunatic, but he's shot his bolt in doing it. He's blown a gasket, right? So he's got like that, and so I've seen him gas a little bit, and I've hit him with a right hand, left hook, right hand, and he's gone. And I thought, just jump at him. But at this point, we're both like gone. We've both like we've left everything in the ring. There's nothing left. But you find that little bit of energy from somewhere. I see him like have a little stagger, and I just jumped at him and just knocked him through the ropes. And it was over, done.
Can you tell, through a fight, can you tell that they get charged, the punches ain't as hard as they were?
Do you know
what would happen in the boxing match?
You get a feeling, like
in the face or something. You can. I mean, when he gassed out, was that tiredness or his
no,
punches weren't as hard?
Because I hit him with a combination. I see his legs buckle a little bit, and so as soon as I saw that, I thought I knew where I was, and I thought there's no way, because I left no stone unturned. I thought, this is what I had. This is the mental strength I had going in there. I went, there's no way he can be fitter than me because he couldn't have trained harder than me. It's not possible. So if I'm tired, he's got to be tired. So if he hits me a 3, I've got to hit him a 4. So even if he's not showing it, I know he's got to be gone because I'm gone. And that was your strength. So it becomes a mental battle. And so then but then what happens, Ray, is when you feel someone cracking, you might hit him with a body shot and you're inside. You might hear a any little thing, and you think, got him. Do you know what I mean? And that was what it was. I went like that, and I thought, this is it now, John, because you don't, in your mind, you think there can't be long left. And I'm jumping on him, and anyway, the fight was over, and that was sort of the beginning of everything. So then we fast forward now to the night I got injured. So I'm now struggling.
Where was that at?
This is the Royal Albert Hall.
Okay.
So now I'm really, really struggling to make the weight, but I'm like now ranked number 1 and 2 in all the governing bodies. So it's there, and they go, right, look, Spence, win a world title here.
And you're still a kid, really, aren't you?
Yeah, Eric Morales was champion. I think Wayne McCulloch was number 1. I was number 2. I think Manny Pacquiao was number 8.
Wow.
Like, it was mad. Like, when I look at you and I look back now and see what they went on to achieve, I go, well, that's what I would have done.
But you didn't think yourself, I suppose you didn't realise what people looked at and how good people respected
Manny Pacquiao weren't Manny Pacquiao then, like, he was just...
So this it's over a space of 2 years in, not even that.
2 years, 2 years. So like now all of a sudden I'm European champion, I'm doing this, and I only just turned pro, really.
How long did it take now? How many fights did you have in them 2 years for the bit? How many was you?
That was after that was then my 14th fight. So I had 14 fights.
So how long would it take you now? If you come to the game now, how long would you have? How long would it take 14 fights?
Well,
it wouldn't be 2 years, 3 years, it'd be 6, 7 years.
Maybe. It depends how. It depends what it is who's behind you and all that. So. Yeah, so I've had these 14 fights. I'm now 14-0, 10 KOs or something. And I'm boxing a guy called Sergey Devakov. So Devakov has boxed on my undercards before, and it was a routine defensive one. He was mandatory, so I had to box him. I'd seen him, and he was pretty shit, to be fair. But all I thought he was, like one of those. I go again. He had a good record. He'd drawn for the European title before, but it was someone that I knew that I could deal with because I'd beaten people that had beaten him. And there's some problems. Like I had. Like problems outside of the ring going into the fight, and I was like,
What do you mean? Blood problems?
What was that?
Just like with an ex-partner I had, and there was problems going on surrounding it. Anyway, so long story short, I go into the ring and you go, right, I'm just going to get this job done. Your mind's like,
I want to get out of here.
Yeah, but I want to do it. But I'm also struggling to make the weight badly as well. So because I was at that stage in my life where I needed to move up in weight. It was like, right, get this kid out of the way. Then we box for the world title. Then we go, then we go.
Move the weight up.
Move up.
Get me a apartment in Tenerife.
Yeah, exactly that. Exactly that, mate. Yeah, go and visit. Yeah, exactly. So I'm going into the fight and I'm really struggling to make the weight. And we get to the weigh-in, the day of the weigh-in. Now you're going to say to me, like, you know, we'll have that go, and I'll go, like, I remember being down the gym, skipping the weight off in the morning, but the weigh-in used to be at 6 p.m. at night then. We get to weigh-in, do the weigh-in, get off the scales, and then I remember waking up in a hospital bed 3 weeks later. That's what I remember. Yeah, wow. As mad as that.
So watching the fight, what happened?
Yeah, so what happened, Race, was right. So I remember being on the scales. Then I don't know if I'm piecing this together in my mind after watching it, or whether I go, yeah, because I've got little flashbacks of it. Yeah. I remember. So I told you I'm scared of heights, right? Yeah. So in the Royal Albert Hall, they had this big, like, because it was the big homecoming, but boxing hadn't been in the Royal Albert Hall for years and everything else. I had the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra singing me in, doing the Omen music, so that was my boxing name. And they had me coming up on a crane. They lifted me up on a crane as they were singing, and it would go to the top of the Albert Hall, and I'm standing there. So I'm coming up, and the music's going, and as I've done that, I felt the crane go. So as you see me, if you watch the fight back on feet, I'm standing there like that.
He's turning into an angel.
What's that coming out the bottom of his shorts? Yeah, but I'm standing there like that, right? So I'm fucking scared of heights. I'm thinking, oh, come on, get down. So I sort of vaguely remember that. And then when I got in the ring, and I tripped over the MC's wire. And I sort of, as I'm watching it back, I think, I remember that.
Okay.
And that's basically it. And then I remember.
So in the fight, was you winning the fight? Was you sitting?
Yeah, I was up on the scorecards by a round or two. I think one judge had it level, and the other two one had me 2 up, and one might have had me 3 or 1 up. I can't remember what it was, but I was winning the fight. And then we get into. So what happened? This is the mad thing. So we get into the first round, and this is why I don't think I remember any of the fights. So we get in the first round. He hits me with a left hook. And I go down, he catches me with a left hook, and I go down, and you see me like this, and I'm staring at the floor. And when I get up, I'm sort of like wobbly, and the ref lets it go on, it's about 10 seconds, then the bell goes. But then I get a heavy nosebleed. Now, I ain't got a bone in my nose, really, like I was born...
So like, that was...
So the bleed was coming from the brain, but no one was to know that. Oh. So I've got a heavy nosebleed, and the blood's going. So my trainer keeps saying to me in between the rounds, you're all right. And I'm going, yeah, I'm right, but I was boxing out of character because everything was really weird, and I'm trying to hit him and hold and all that sort of stuff. So I'm still just sort of like got my nose in front in the fight. So
you don't remember this?
Don't remember any of it. My trainers were telling me. Yeah. He says, look, I'll keep asking you, you're all right, because you don't look right, you're all right. And I'm going, yeah. And he goes, you're winning the fight, so what do we do? You're world ranked, this is what's happening.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, he's going, so you're all right. And I go, yeah. And bell goes to the 10th round, he comes out, he hits me with a right hand, bang, I go over. So as I go over, I'm on like all fours again like that, and then I get up, and like I don't remember this. It's only from me watching, and then I fall into the referee, and the referee sort of gets me and he puts me down. Yeah, he holds me and then puts me down. I'm on the floor, and then there's this guy that was called Eddie Carter. Eddie was my he was my cut man. He used to work locally in my local hospital in Barnet General, but. It's a tragic story, this. So Eddie was my cut man, who was just like one of the best souls. You know, like
they're
you
very
get human beings.
Yeah,
but one of them human beings. It's one of the best souls. Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, but he weren't just my cut man. He used to do my massages. Anytime I got any problems, any injuries, or whatever else, he would take me to the hospital. It was like first class. He was just a diamond geezer. So anyway, Eddie had researched all this stuff, because he was one of them sort of guys. Understood it medically. He understood everything. He saw me going in and out of like consciousness, and he says the anaesthetist who was in the ring at the time put a line in him and put him to sleep. Basically, put me into a coma, put me into an induced coma in the ring, as opposed to.
Do you think that was very important to save your life at that time, or
they'd learnt from Michael Watson? So what happened to Michael Watson was the fight.
Yeah. So that was how long ago was Michael Watson before that?
Michael Watson was in 1990 or 1991.
So
and I was 1997, so 6 years. And I was the first injury from Michael Watson. So they'd learned from the mistakes. They had a anaesthetist, well, they didn't have that at the time with Watson. So anyway, they see me going in and out of consciousness. That Eddie Carter says, look, put a line in him because I think there's a problem. Because he could see that there was a problem and whatnot. So they put me into a coma in the ring. They take me to the National Neurological Hospital and recognise that I've obviously.
This is all set up. So you got like they'd have obviously ambulances there in case something.
That was all through what happened to Michael. To change medical science, really. So they had the ambulances there. They whacked me in the ambulance, take me to the National Neurological. I think they took me to Whips Cross first.
Whips Cross.
And they didn't have the right procedures there, so they took me to the National Neurological in Queen Square, and they recognised that I had a bleed on the brain. They call it the golden hour. So what they're doing is if they can get do something within the hour, you got a great chance of survival. So
I remember this all happening. I remember seeing the fight now and all that.
It was huge.
For 2 weeks, it was massive news every day. Massive news.
We never had social media. It was front page, back page of every paper, every news.
Everyone thought you was gone, really.
Yeah. Oh, well, I should have been.
What's happened?
Yeah, so I undergo a 3-hour operation to remove a blood clot from the right side of my brain. Look, you can see that little hole there.
Yeah.
So they drilled in there.
But your family must have thought you're not going to be able to walk. Anything you could have gone either way. You're going to be not be able to be Spenny again.
Yeah.
Or
so my mum's never been to any of my fights, amateur or pro, because she didn't like it. So my mum gets a phone call. Look, your son's had an accident. You can imagine she's come up there. But listen to this: the first fight ever, amateur or pro, my dad wasn't at. Because he was taking a team to Vegas.
Oh, so he weren't there at the time, so he told your mum and dad.
He had Anthony Joshua and all that over in Vegas, and he gets the phone call, your son's had an injury, so now he's got to come back on the plane.
Oh,
but he can't look at any papers. He can't have a look at any papers or anything in case I've died. So he's thinking, I can't do it.
Yeah.
So he's flying back from Vegas to try and get to me, so he obviously comes back and I'm in a coma, so he's like, it was crazy. It was just like it was just like a mad time. So I wake up, I think it was...
Do you remember waking up?
2 weeks later, yeah, I do. I remember when this is the mad thing. So I don't remember any of the fight. Don't remember anything. I just remember waking up and I'm looking like this, and I've got the
thing in your mouth,
thing in the mouth and all that. Cause, do you know what I mean? I'm looking like because you're effectively being kept alive by a machine. Do you know what I mean? It's mad. I think I died for 2 weeks. So I wake up, I'm looking around, I'm thinking. Last thing I remember being at the Royal Albert Hall. I've got all these people around me, but I can see doctors now. I'm thinking,
oh no,
I must have been knocked out. That's what I'm thinking. So I'm still at the fight.
I mean, for you to have your eye stitched up or something.
I'm still at the fight.
2 weeks later?
No, I still think it's May the 2nd. It's now May the 14th or 18th, though. 2 or 3 days after I'm coming out, I'm still really spacey because I'm getting these terrible headaches because of obviously the put half my skull back. So I'm there and I'm like looking, but no one's told me the extent of the injury. So I'm still thinking,
I'll be fighting next week.
No, I thought that's going to be a year. I'm going to be out for a year. And I'm thinking that in the 3 days, so I keep saying to my manager, Jess, at the time, saying, Jess, like, what's going on? Like, am I going to be all right? He went, yeah, don't worry, Spence, you're going to be fine, mate. Just get yourself better and all that. So I'm lying there. So now I'm starting to come around more and more. So after about, I think it was about a week in hospital or whatever, they take the catheter out.
Oh.
Yeah.
Just made my belly button go funny.
Yeah. Oh. You know, right? So that's worse than the fight. They take
worse than fighting that kid when you were 11.
Exactly. So they take the catheter out, and now I'm in the process. Right, Spence, we're going to start getting you to walk again. I'm thinking, what is going on here? So
you don't know the extent of that.
No one's told me because of the trauma that I'd been through.
Well, because they don't want you to panic.
Of course,
or
like panic or I've got basically put my skull back together. Yeah. So I said, right, Spence, going to start walking. I'm all right, whatever. So get up, and I've got this Zimmer frame. Can I stand up here or not?
Yeah, go on. You're still being shot.
Right, so I've got this Zimmer frame. I've got this Zimmer.
Why are you just knocking that?
Hold on, I'm bending down. So I've got this Zimmer frame, and I'm going. So now my legs ain't there at all. I'm thinking, then my legs are not working, and so I'm going. What's going on here? So because obviously no one's told me the extent. So I'm doing these small steps. So anyway, we do that. So this is now the first time I'm going. Right, I need to. No, I'm lying now. Go. Because I've been looking at the toilet, which is like, let's just say by that wall there, and I'm going, people don't realise how lucky they are to get this toilet after I'm doing this walking thing. I'm looking, I go, I need to go to the toilet, because I've taken the catheter out. Now they went, all right, Spence, yeah, go on. But no one's still told me about this injury, right? So I'm going now. I know I've got headaches, but I don't, because I'm spaced out and whatnot.
You don't know what's going on.
So anyway, I take the Zimmer frame and I go to the toilet. I can't remember who was with me at the time. Someone's obviously with me. And I'm walking to the toilet and I get in there and there's a mirror. So I'm looking there and it was grossly swollen out there. And I looked in the mirror and I just started crying. I thought, that's when I knew my boxing career was over. I'm like, I'm done. So now I'm going, right, so now it's all about the rebuilding process. So I'm on this ward, right? with loads of other patients that have got similar sort of injuries. And I've got one geezer that's like over one side, this guy, it's Abdul, and I don't know what his problem, I don't know what his history was, but I'm sort of waving, he's waving, oh, beer, beer, and he's shouting. I'm thinking, I can't be doing this, geezer, my head's hurting. And I've got this other guy next to me called Dave. So
Dave.
Yeah, it was his name, Dave. But he's a hippie guy, right? So I'm thinking, this geezer seems all right. Like, the odd, like, how you doing, mate? Yeah, anyway, but everyone's just trying to rebuild their lives and whatnot. So we didn't really chat. So one day I'll get up and I'm really stressed out this day. Like, I'm going like, I really need to like, because now I'm realising more and more that my life's totally changed. And I'm thinking, what am I going to do here? I'm 23 years of age, just turned 23, my life's over, what am I going to do?
I didn't realise you were that young, mate.
So just turned 23, 2 months after my 23rd birthday. So I'm getting up, and so I'm walking down the ward and I'm just trying to get myself back together. So I sit down, hi Dave, how are you, mate? Like, yeah, good, yeah, we're chatting away. He says to me, yeah, good, man, yeah. And he goes, listen, do you want a banana? And I look, well, no, I'm all right, mate. Anyway, so I start chatting, he ain't got no bananas there, right? So he's like, yeah, look, it's fancy some spaghetti bolognese, man. And I went,
what? Yeah.
Nah, that's it, I'm done, I'm out. I've lost it, I'm done. I'd say, like, Spencer, calm down, I've got 98 statements. No, I'm done. So all of a sudden, I see this 6'6" figure walking down the corridor. It's my old manager, Jess Harding, right? And he's like, "What's going on?" I went, "Jess, get me out of this place. It's full of nutters. I'm gone." Anyway, so it's just like, "Look, don't worry, I'll calm him down." And he said, "Look, he's gonna have to sign something. He can't. Honestly, he can't leave. He's just had a blood clot removed from his brain." I put a tracksuit on. He's taking me downstairs. He thinks I'll take him downstairs. Take him downstairs. I went, "Let's get a taxi. I want to get a taxi." So we get in a taxi. And it's me, him, and Eddie Carter, my cut man. We're in the taxi, and the radio's playing, and whatever song was on at the time, Jess says to me, "Oh, you started singing the song." So then I started thinking, "Oh, he's all right. He can remember stuff and all that," because I'm still very slow.
So they don't know how you're going to respond, how you're going to recover or anything.
So I'm in the taxi, and it takes me down to Chinatown, right? So we go down. Yeah, just here. How weird is that? It's just like where we are now. So it takes me to Chinatown, and I said, "I want to get something to eat. I want Chinese. I want some proper food." And he's like, right, let's go. And so I go, he goes, "Where do you want to go?" I went, "Let's go in that restaurant there." So he said, "All right then, yeah." But as this music's playing, I'm starting singing this song. So like Eddie, who's my
You can't remember this. You can't
Eddie,
remember this. Can you remember this now?
Yeah, I remember this. I remember all this now.
You remember singing in taxi?
Oh yeah, and all that. So I can't remember what the song was, but Eddie's like to Jess, "Oh, it's good. He's playing the words of the song." So he's all right. But Eddie was like the guy that effectively saved my life because he told Ian Higgs what to do and all that. So we go into the Chinese. We open the door of the Chinese. You got to go down a flight of stairs like that. Now they're going, "Oh no, he can't." So I'm walking down the stairs. I'm going down the stairs.
One in front of you, one
That's
behind you.
We had the Chinese now have calmed down, and I'm like, right, I want to go back. So they drive me back to the hospital. I get back in my pajamas, and then the rebuilding process starts again. And I was staying there for another couple of weeks, and then I'm released, and that's how.
After you come out of the operation and you obviously trained for London Marathon, how long did it take you to get over knowing that you could never box again?
Oh, it took me. So that was a really dark period of my life. Like probably 3 or 4 years where I went through like dark times. You know what I mean? Drinking, partying, just trying to rediscover myself because I've
got being a market trader, isn't it?
Yeah. The only thing I never had to stall, that was all. Yeah.
They've only got half a brain as well, that one.
So it was a very, very dark time. But like I say, like Michael
Watson.
You accepted it. Yeah. Michael Watson was a big help for me getting through that because I looked at him and he was my pillar of strength, if you like. So I asked that question to Michael Watson. Like when I first met him and everything, I was like, and so we chatting. I was going, such an inspirational guy. And I said, "Michael, how did you get through that?" And he was like, well, he said, "I'll tell you what happened with me." He said, "Remember when I got wheeled onto the Arsenal pitch and all that?" He said, I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, when I was in the hospital, I was like that. And like I did when I got wheeled onto the at Highbury." He said, "Like I was there and I was paralysed from literally the neck down, couldn't move." He said, "But I knew what was going on in here." Yeah. He said, "So people thought I was just actually gone because I was like that." He said, "But I knew what was going on."
Meant the world to him.
And he said, "Muhammad Ali come to visit me in the hospital." Wow. And I went, "Go on." And he went, "Yeah." He said, and that was the beginning of my rebuilding process. And I was like, wow. And this is the beginning, and this is all link up in a minute. I go, "Go on." And he goes, "Yeah, come to me." And he said, "You're the champ, you're da-da-da, and you can do this." And he said, "But I'm paralysed, so I can hear what you're saying, but I'm just looking at him." And he goes, "And that gave me so much strength." He goes, "Because he was my boxing idol." So I looked at Michael and I went, "Do you know what? I think you're my boxing idol." I said, "Because you're my pillar of strength." I said, you're my Muhammad Ali. And that was basically the beginning of our relationship. So we both started crying and then sort of like, he helped me through those dark times when I was like feeling really low and whatnot. I ended up doing the last mile of the marathon with him when he done that and all that. But I'm going, if it wasn't for you, and I'd say it to his face, I said, Michael, if it weren't for you, Michael, I went,
That's getting me emotional now.
I wouldn't be where I am. And Michael said to me, and it's mad, man. Michael went, do you know what, Spencer, I hated the person that I was. He said, but I love the person I am now. And that's what it is. And he goes, he goes, can you see what God's given me? He said, like, God gave me the gift to be able to give you your life back. He said, because what happened to me, he's done that. And I was just like, it's just like one of those things. It's just like absolutely crazy.
Can I just say, though, I know it's a podcast. I mean, this is the most amazing conversation I've had on a podcast. It's the most amazing conversation I've had in my life.
Yeah, mate, listen.
This is unbelievable.
That's the best.
And the best thing about it.
Yeah, and then
you like to tell the tale, me old mate.
Absolutely. And to finish this off is another sad one. So that guy Eddie Carter,
the
cut man,
who saved your life, really.
Absolutely. So I then see Eddie. He used to live quite near me. So one time I see him and he was going through a lot of trouble. I saw him and he was going into a shop and it was right near Finchley ABC where my dad's gym was. So I'm going into the shop, oh Eddie, I ain't seen you for ages, how are you, mate? And he looks a bit down and he smelled a drink and whatnot. And I'm like, what's going on, mate? He's going, oh, so I'm well good, Spence, mate. He was all a little bit jittery and all that. Didn't recognise what was going on, but he was having like tough mental health problems. And he works at Barnet General and he would go up there and say, listen, I've got problems. And they were going, all right, Ed, just to say it. They didn't recognise what he had, right? They didn't recognise the symptoms that he had. And then, I know what it was, just 2 weeks after I saw him or whatever, then we got a phone call.
Go on, mate. That's all right.
Go on, bro.
Go on.
Got a phone call saying that he took his own life and gone and drowned himself, And I go, a guy that saved so many lives, saved my life, but he spent a life saving lives and no one could recognise what was going on, do you know what I mean? And his family were desperately trying to get him help and no one would help him.
He's remembered today though, mate, isn't he?
Yeah.
We remember him today.
So that was and that was it. Yeah, so sad ending to a beautiful human being, but
mate, what a story. Spencer Oliver, what a legend. And I think we should, just be grateful. Like, I mean, I've lost the words a little bit, Eddie the Cut Man.
Eddie the Cut Man.
Yeah, what a legend. And from being at the top, the pinnacle, to having everything in front of you, to waking up 2 weeks later. And what a story, and going from dark places to looking where you are now, make you an inspiration, and thank you for coming on.
You are. Thank you very much, mate.
Yeah.
Honestly, you're a good man.
So if you enjoyed that podcast, there's loads more. The Men's Room with talkSPORT is fantastic. The 17th hardest footballer of all time, and me, Tom Skinner.
Amish.